Welcome to Cuckoo Clock Yoga. We're going to be focusing on standing poses today. We will get down to the floor and do a couple of seated poses, but most of the time we're going to be standing. Standing poses are accessible to pretty well everyone. They're fairly simple, and I can describe them, and everybody enjoys them, especially her. I'm just standing nice and tall. You can have your hands in front of you.
Just to be fair, I did request sleeping poses, but
whatever. Hands either in front of you or down your side, whatever works for you. Lift your knees so you're engaging your thigh muscles a little bit, softening your hips, bringing your knees slightly forward. Stretch out through the crown of your head to be nice and tall, but not tight or tense. And just come to normal breathing, then start deepening it and breathing really into your belly. Try not to lift your shoulders until maybe at the very end of the inhale. And now separate your feet a little bit more widely. With the inhale, spin your arms, look up at the ceiling. And exhale, just bring your arms back down. Keep the shoulders and back open. Let's do that again. Soften your knees. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Do it again. This time use a little bit of energy, a little bit of force in your arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. So your muscles are opposing each other as your arms are going up and down. Do it one more time. Strong. This time we're going to reach up and we're going to do a forward bend. Exhale, soften your knees, bend them as you need to get your hands to your shins. Whether your legs are straight or not is not important. Push away, lengthen the space between crown of the head and your tailbone, and then see how much you can straighten your legs. We're just warming them up now, so don't force anything. Slide your hands down until the point where your hamstrings are saying, that's it. We're not going to go anymore right now. And then leave your hips in the position they are, and then round your back and aim the crown of your head to the ceiling. Don't try to get any deeper into the pose. We're just relaxing the back.
the crown of your head to the ceiling?
Floor, ceiling, whatever. It's inverted now.
Just wanted to make sure you were clear. For those who are not looking because their heads are down.
Yes, understood. Soften your knees and come back up to standing. Stretch up for the ceiling. Did I get it right that time?
Yep.
Good. Exhale. We're going to do one more swan dive down. Hands on your shins. Lengthen your legs. Slide down. Round the back. Same as we just did. Just a little bit faster. Just describe it a little bit faster. And bend your knees, come back up to standing, reach up for the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. Triangle on the left side, bring the right foot back so that your heel ends up in line, so right behind, the right heel is right behind the left heel. Inhale, raise the arms parallel to the floor, soften the left knee, lift it, lift the heel up off the floor just gently. Lean out over the leg. Tilt into your triangle shape and then straighten that left leg again. Open up to the side or stay nice and open. Don't care how close your left hand gets to the floor. Care about whether your right hand is stacked over the right shoulder, is stacked over the left shoulder, and the left hand is right over the left foot. That's what's important here, not how close you are to the ground. Pay attention to your body, shift what needs shifting. Keep opening the pose, sink down if there's space. Two more breaths. Exhale, look down, soften your knees, come up and step to the front. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, left foot comes back so that the left heel is behind the right heel. Raise both arms parallel, soften the front knee, tilt down, lift the right heel off the ground if it helps you. And then when you're down in the pose, then you straighten both your legs. Keep energy flowing out the tips of your fingers to encourage you to stay open to the side and to try to stack your hands with your shoulders and your foot. Look up at the ceiling if it works for your balance. If not, look across the room or at the floor. Remember, if you look at the floor, then we tend to collapse down. The whole body faces the floor. So if you can, at least look across the room. Sink lower as things open. Two more breaths. Exhale, look down, soften. Inhale, come up. Step to the front. Extended triangle is essentially the same idea. We're opening to the side, but we're taking a long step. When I say long step, I mean long step. The longer, the easier, to be totally honest, and you want to feel like you're doing the splits already. You've stepped back that far. Bend the front knee so that the thigh is somewhere near parallel with the floor. Left arm goes across, open to the side. Right arm, if it's comfortable, can come overhead. If it's not, it's totally fine just to leave it on the right hip. And lots of distance, if the arm is overhead, between fingertips, the right hand, and the outside edge of the right foot. If you need to glance down, make sure that your knee is over the ankle or behind it, not beyond it, and not leaning in or out. Two more breaths here. Release, look down, and step to the front. Extend the left leg back. Big stance. Right arm crosses the thigh, turn to the side, left arm overhead. Remember here, you want to stay nice and open again. Don't lean down towards the floor. Your gaze can be up towards the ceiling from under your arm or up into the palm of your right hand, or again, just straight across the room. Two more breaths. Exhale, release. Step to the front, shake it out. And warriors, this time when you draw your foot back, it's not going to come in. It doesn't want to go behind the other ankle like it did for the triangles. It wants to go straight back. Draw the right foot straight back. The foot's going to lean out, so it's going to be turned out a little bit, but your hips want eventually to square with the front of the mat. They will not do that if the foot comes in and is in line behind the left foot. Tuck your tailbone under. Make sure there's no pain in the lower back. Raise the arms overhead. If the shoulders are open enough, you can interlace your fingers and straighten your arms. Otherwise, just leave your arms straight. Try not to bend them or hold them in sort of a loose fashion. It's a warrior pose. You want to have strength in this pose. You want to show like you're working. And open to warrior two. The arms drop to parallel with the floor. We may have to widen our stance in order to get down a little bit lower. The left thigh comes to within parallel with the floor. Make sure the right thigh is rolling open. Don't let the knee collapse down towards the ground. Right hand is directly behind you. Left hand is directly in front of you. And you're looking out across the left hand, out over the left knee. Relax the shoulders and make sure they don't crowd your ears. Once you think you're settled, glance down quickly to make sure that your left knee is not tracking inwards. Pull it out to the side if it is. Release. Standing at the front. The same warrior 1 and 2 on the other side. Draw the left foot back. Square the hips or nearly square them with the front of the mat. Tuck the tailbone under. Lots of length in the torso. Arms come up. Interlace fingers if you can straighten your arms. And do so. Otherwise, keep the arms just straight and overhead. Release the shoulders. Don't crowd them around the ears. Remember, all standing poses in yoga have a mixture of firmness and ease. So those parts that are working hard. Those parts that are not working are relaxing. So your face is relaxing. Your breath is relaxed. Your legs are working, your arms are working. Slowly open to warrior 2. Drop the arms at the parallel with the floor. Extend the stance if need be. Roll the left leg open so the thighs coming out and around. Well, imagine it that way. So also planting the outer edge of the left foot. If the shoulders are tight for any reason, just drop them. And then do a motion like you're pulling off your sweater. And then bring them back down. Your hands are loose. Shoulders are strong but not squeezing up around the ears. Tailbone tucks under slightly. Release. Come to standing at the front. Shake it out. Take a little break and do a balance pose, a standing balance pose. I'm going to do tree pose. I have a very thick mat, which is kind of hard to do. Tree pose, like this standing pose on one foot. So I'm going to step off a little bit and stand here in the middle. So there's lots of variations for tree. It has to be a balance pose, so try not to stand on 2 feet. The very most you want to stand on is 1 foot and your big toe of the other foot. If you can, at least bring the sole of the foot to come up against the ankle, or bring it up to the shin, or bring it up past the knee. Please do not stick it on the knee. Finally, you can bring it up so that the heel is up in the groin. And then pull the right knee back. Try to straighten the left leg, stand tall. Feel like the arms can come overhead. For this pose, the elbows stay bent when the arm comes overhead. Slowly release. Let's do the same on the other side. Plant your foot, find your point of reference, something on the far wall or on the floor that your eyes don't waver from. That helps with balance. I feel like, again, the arms can come overhead. That's optional. If they do, you'll notice that your belly tends to come forward, the tailbone tends to tuck backwards. You want to then tuck it back under, stand tall. And if possible, completely straighten the right leg. Unless you're standing on the left. Release and come out. Shake it out. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Step back with the left foot. Separate your feet quite wide again. You want to feel like you're doing a bit of a splits already. Hands on your hips. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Even if you can't go farther, don't do so yet, please. Then we're going to do cat-cow here. Drop the belly for cow. Tuck everything in. Arch the back for cat. Go back and forth. If you're keeping your legs straight, notice what's happening to the stretches. The inside of the groin, maybe the hamstrings, maybe the hips, as you tuck your tailbone under and as you stick it up into the air. You can see that as you do the cat, the stretch is reduced. As you do the cow, the stretch is increased. That's why when we fold forwards, we want to fold at the hip. We want to keep on doing a cow version of the pose. We want our belly to lead the fold so that we fold at the hip and not in the back. And we stretch the hamstrings, not the lower back. So now as you are able, you come down off your fingertips onto the palms of your hands. And if that works, you can draw your hands back so your fingertips are in line with your toes. And then relax the head. But again, engage your core and try to draw your belly through your legs. Again, where your head ends up is not that interesting. The head is quite flexible, or the neck is. You can aim your head towards the floor. You might even get the crown of your head on the floor far sooner than you actually get a complete stretch of your hamstrings and your inner groin. That's what we want in this pose. So keep drawing through with your core muscles, bringing your body closer to your legs. Your torso, I guess, closer to your legs. And then come back up onto your fingertips. Heel toe in a little bit. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come up to standing. And come back to the front. Shake things out. We'll do a couple of standing stretches for the shoulders while we do a forward bend. So the forward bend is going to be feet hip width apart. And again, you want to fold at the hips, keeping your belly leading, not just rounding your back. And then the hands, meanwhile, are going to interlace behind you. You're going to straighten your arms. Don't lock your elbows if you can avoid it. Lift your collarbones and then lean forward. Stretch your arms overhead. Now, if I could see myself, I'd probably notice my hands are not directly over me. We tend to be a little bit lopsided, and my hands are probably either to the left or to the right. See if you can sense that and correct for it. Open up both shoulders. Lift your hands a little higher. And inhale, come up. Release. What's your favorite standing pose? I know one we haven't done yet. Good.
Thank you.
So this again is another balanced pose, but it doesn't stay a balanced pose. We're going to cross our right shin across the left thigh. We're going to lean forward and the fingertips come to the ground. Now, depending on how tight things are in the hamstring, you may need to bend that left leg. That's fine. Once the fingers are on the ground, then you can straighten the left leg. Being careful because the right thigh is putting pressure on it. Keep it slightly bent and make sure your right shin is not on your left knee.
You know me well, by the way.
I do.
I like a good hip stretch.
Now bend the left knee and come down onto your toes of the one foot. This deepens the hip stretch. This is a nice stretch for the foot. To come out. You can do that.
It is safer for some people just to do
well,
that.
Just come out.
You can also stand up, I'm sure, and do something fancy, but that's the safest way of getting out of it.
Just release the leg onto the floor. Other side. Come to standing. The left shin crosses the right leg. Just above the knee, then lean forward, bending the right leg as needed to get your fingertips to the ground. Straighten the right leg. Keep leaning forward. So stretch for the hamstring of the right side. Stretch for the hip of the left side. And then bend the right knee, come down to the toes of the right side. It's a nice juicy stretch for the hip. And then come out of it the nice easy way. And come back to standing. So we're going to do a standing twist. One way to do that is to do a rotated triangle. So bring your feet back, not into the triangle position where the right foot was behind the left, but into the warrior one position where the right foot was still hip width apart from the left, so that you could square your hips with the front of the mat. Raise your right arm up, soften the left knee as you lean forwards, and then bring the right hand down. Now, depending on flexibility, it can end up on the inside of the left foot, on the left shin itself, or on the outside of the left foot. And then pull the left hip back. You may even take your left thumb, put it in your hip crease and pull it back. Turn to the side, and the left hand can go up towards the ceiling. It's hard to turn all the way to the side of the room. Balance is tricky here. And release. Inhale, come up. Step to the front. Let's do the other side. Step back with the left foot. Square your hips to the front. Inhale the left foot up. Bend the front knee or the right knee gently as you come forward. Plant the left hand where the right one was, inside on shin or outside. Pull the right hip back and open up. Check to see your sides are probably not balanced, especially in a complicated pose like a twisting forward bend. Let's notice more strain on one side than the other. That's why we do yoga. Try to even things out. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come up to standing. No. And we're going to lie down for Shavasana. Not corpse pose, I'm not to call it that. Shavasana. Just come seated.
At some point, saying
Stretch
that
out.
is probably defeating the purpose.
I know, I'm sorry. Palms up, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed, legs relaxed. I'll just lie here and just wait. Bring your breath back to normal. And try to relax every muscle in your body. Bring some feeling back to your fingers and toes. Or your ankles and your wrists. On inhale, stretch your arms overhead. And then tuck in one knee, squeeze it in. Tuck in the other one. And roll over to your right side. Use your arms as a pillow. And then using just your arms, push your way up to seated. Cross your ankles. Decide for yourself if you've crossed them the way that you normally do. If it is your normal way, uncross them, cross them the other way. Rest your arms comfortably somewhere on your legs. And inhale, lengthen the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And exhale, release, relax. Put your palms together. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining us. And have a nice rest of your day or evening or whatever is before you. Good night.